Tonight, the Congress debacle in the Hindi heartland. Will it undo the India opposition alliance, or can the opposition get its act together for 2024? We'll be focusing on that as our talking point tonight, but there's plenty of news today. The headlines. Reddy named Telangana's next Chief Minister, swearing-in ceremony to take place on Thursday. Hectic parleys underway to choose the next Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. BJP sources say Prime Minister will take final call on who will be Chief Minister, even as Vasundhara Raje's supporters are digging their heels in. DMK MP Senthil Kumar stirs a North-South debate by taunting BJP's win in the Hindi heartland states with a Gaumutra slur in Parliament. BJP condemns Congress distances. Senthil apologizes. India bloc meeting is deferred after top leaders Mamata Banerjee, Nitish Kumar, Akhilesh Yadav and Hemant Soren opt out. Next opposition meeting to be held on December 17. Rajput Karni Sena Chief Sukhdev Singh Goga shot to death in broad daylight in Jaipur. One assailant killed in the crossfiring, hunt on for the other accused. Cyclone Migjom completes landfall in Andhra Pradesh. Roads inundated, thousands of acres of crops submerged. Flood deluge. Death toll in Chennai has risen to 9. Another achievement for Chandrayaan-3. ISRO brings back propulsion module from Moon to Earth's orbit. Next mission to bring moon rocks back to India. Stock markets hit a new record high on Tuesday. Sensex closes at a high of 69,000 points. Nifty settles above 20,850. Israel's Gaza offensive against Hamas continues. Palace of Justice in the Gaza Strip blown up. Death toll mounts to over 15,000 in the Gaza Strip alone. But the story that's breaking is that the Chief Minister faced suspense within the BJP is now reaching the Prime Minister's door. A meeting is on at Prime Minister Modi's residence with BJP President JP Nadda and Amit Shah among others attending that meeting at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg. Sources say the discussion is over who should be the next Chief Minister in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. 3 battleground states that the BJP won this week. And the big question, of course, is will the BJP go in for a generational change or stick with the old order? That's the question that's being asked, and that's the question that can only be answered by one man, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because it appears that the BJP has left that decision to him. Remember, Vasundhara Raje in particular, her supporters have been digging their heels in. 28 of them had assembled in Jaipur, and they are still pushing the case of the two-time former Chief Minister. Shivraj Singh Chauhan is hoping meanwhile to be sworn in for a 5th time, but there is still no official announcement on Shivraj Singh Chauhan's candidature. Meanwhile, in Chhattisgarh, Dr. Raman Singh is the old guard, but there are lots of new names also doing the rounds in Chhattisgarh, Arun Sao among them. So clearly the big question being asked is, well, will the Prime Minister now use this opportunity to bring in a generational change in the 3 BJP ruled states? The meeting has been called this evening, and there are expectations that not until the weekend will the BJP take the final decision on who will be Chief Minister. All of this happening in the national capital. Okay, let's turn from there to what's happening in the Congress camp, because there it is very clear now. Reddy has been announced as the new Chief Minister of Telangana. Reddy is heading to Delhi to meet the Congress High Command. His swearing-in will take place now on the 7th of December, that's day after tomorrow. DK Shiv Kumar played a very important role before this announcement was made in the national capital. Listen in to the announcement of Reddy as the new Chief Minister.
Mr. DK Shiv Kumar and Manikrao Dakhareji has given detailed report on their observation about the CLP meeting. After considering this report and with the discussion with the senior leadership, Honorable Congress President decided to go with Ravan Reddy, our PCC President, as the new CLP of Telangana Legislative Party. The swearing will be happen day after tomorrow, 7th.
Okay, first I want to go straight across to Hyderabad, where our correspondent Apurva is joining me. Apurva, Revant Reddy all set to be sworn in, but the question remains, is the Congress also looking at the possibility of a deputy chief minister, given that there is an old guard in Telangana that believes their time has come, Bhatti Vikramarya among other names being mentioned. So is that possible, or is it only going to be Revant Reddy sworn in on Thursday?
Well, Rajdeep, it's finally time. You know, the Congress has now declared that it's going to be Revant Reddy who's going to be the Chief Minister. Interestingly, two other names have also cropped up for, a possibility of a Deputy Chief Minister, one of them being Uttam Kumar Reddy and the other being Bhatti Vikramarka. Both of them tall senior leaders here for the Telangana Congress, and they've been, time and again, been loyalists of Telangana Congress, must I add. And these two have been recognized by AICC as well. In fact, they are also been called into Delhi, where they will be meeting and sitting down with the High Command. Revant Reddy is also en route to Delhi, where he's also going to go and sit down and have a meeting with, he's going to meet with the High Command as well. So we're seeing all these three tall leaders who are going to be meeting with the High Command on one side. On the other side, we're seeing other tall leaders like Sitaka and several others whose names have also cropped up in this internal discussion that is taking place. Remember, I'm just right outside Hotel Ella, where this CPL meeting had taken place yesterday, and in fact DK Shivkumar, the Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister, he himself had also come out and spoken, saying that a unanimous decision has been taken, and that is being now Revant Reddy being announced as the AICC's choice for being named as the Telangana's Chief Minister and the leader for the Congress here in Telangana. Who is going to be the Deputy Chief Minister, if there must be a role allotted, or are there going to be important portfolios that will be allotted to the rest of the tall leaders, as I've just mentioned earlier, be it Bhatti Vikramarka or Uttam Kumar Reddy or Sitaka. All of these names are yet to be decided.
Okay, so there's a possibility of a deputy chief minister. Remember, Revant Reddy is an interesting character because he started his politics in the ABVP as a college activist, then moved to the Telugu Desam, and only joined the Congress in 2017. So within 6 years of his joining the Congress, he's now the Chief Minister of designate of Telangana. What's happening in the BJP camp? Let's try and go in and check if Paulomi Saha is with us, where the Chief Ministerial phase suspense continues. Paulomi, is this going to be a long drawn-out process, particularly because the BJP has to decide, do they want a generational change or not, the likes of Vasundhara Raje and Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Raman Singh, or someone new?
Well, the BJP is deliberating upon this as we speak. JP Nadda earlier this morning and over yesterday has had meetings with different leaders, like he met with Gajendra Singh Shekhawat earlier today briefly. He met with Bhupendra Yadav, who also very surprisingly was a name that did the rounds as far as Rajasthan Chief Ministerial phase was concerned. But he met with JP Nadda earlier this morning in Parliament in his capacity as election in charge for Madhya Pradesh. VD Sharma, State Chief of Madhya Pradesh, was also present in that meeting, and right now they are in a meeting. JP Nadda is in a meeting with the Prime Minister, and Amit Shah also is reportedly in that meeting. It's been close to about 2 hours since that meeting has been underway. Yes, it will take some time. What we're hearing from our sources is, at least with Rajasthan, what we're hearing is that legislative party meeting could take place anytime over the weekend. So expect it to happen within 3 to 4 days, which we were told, possibly Saturday. So they will take some time. But yes, BJP has a problem of too many in terms of the probable faces that they're looking at. Vasundhara Raje, of course, tried to do a show of strength today. That is not something that usually goes down very well with the BJP top brass, but it remains to be seen whether indeed it was just a show of strength or whether indeed she enjoys the support of all of those MLAs. Reportedly, she called 68 MLAs, 28 turned up, then over 20 of those then went over to State Chief CP Joshi just shortly afterwards, within a couple of hours, and said, we're with the party. That was just a courtesy call.
Okay, let's wait and see whether this is Vasundhara Raje's last stand or whether the BJP has decided already to go in for a new face in Rajasthan and possibly in the other two states as well. Palomi Saha, for bringing us those details. Appreciate you joining us. Now, while all of that is happening, the big question is whether the BJP's clean sweep of the Hindi heartland states will impact the 2024 Lok Sabha polls and the opposition in particular. What is clear for now is the opposition, the Congress's position within the opposition India alliance has certainly been weakened by its poor showing in the heartland states. The Congress today had to put off a meeting called by its party president Mallikarjun Kharge after many key opposition leaders said they wouldn't be able to attend it. The meeting has now been postponed to the 17th of December. How then have the election results impacted opposition unity and the India alliance ahead of 2024? Take a look.
आज की इस हैट्रिक ने 24 की हैट्रिक की गारंटी दे दी है.
That was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's victory speech after the BJP's clean sweep in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. And there is a reason for his exuberance. The political war of 2024 will be decided by the battles fought in the Hindi heartland. Unlike Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, in these three states, the BJP and Congress are locked in a direct face-off. In 2019, out of 65 Lok Sabha seats in the three states, the BJP won 61 at a strike rate of 94% and the Congress just 4. For the Congress to double its Lok Sabha tally and cross 100, it has to win seats here. And every win the Congress scores will bring down the BJP tally. That is why the debacle in Madhya Pradesh, where it was confident of performing well, is painful for the Grand Old Party. The state leadership of Kamal Nath and Digvijay Singh are under pressure and they have found a scapegoat in the EVMs.
देखो ईवीएम तो मैं 2003 से मुझे भरोसा नहीं है ईवीएम पर क्योंकि बात यह है हमने बटन दबा दिया पता ही नहीं पड़ा वोट कहां गया.
In Rajasthan, Sachin Pilot has called for introspection.
मैं मानता हूं कि हम लोगों को ये जरूर इस जो हम लोग नहीं जीत पाए इस बात पर हमें चिंतन करना पड़ेगा और आने वाले समय में लोकसभा चुनाव बहुत ज्यादा दूर नहीं है तो जो भी हम लोगों को कोर्स करेक्शन करना है या चिंतन करना है या अपने आप को और मजबूत करके मैदान में उतरना है उस पर भी कार्रवाई करनी पड़ेगी.
The election setback weakens the position of Congress within the opposition India alliance. Before the polls, the Congress Chief Minister face, Kamal Nath, had snubbed the Samajwadi Party's demand for an alliance in MP. Now after the elections, Akhilesh Yadav has hit back.
परिणाम ने ही अहंकार खत्म किया है. मुझे उम्मीद है कि आने वाले समय में फिर रास्ता निकलेगा. इसलिए जहां से बात शुरू हुई थी कि जो जहां दल मजबूत है उसको सहयोग दूसरे दल करें.
Even an NDA opposition alliance meet called by Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge during the winter session of Parliament did not get any takers.
मेरे को पता जिसमें नहीं है उसमें आप क्यों हमको पूछ रहा है. मेरे को पता नहीं है, मेरे को जानकारी नहीं है.
The Congress has put off the meeting of its allies. But the question remains, if the opposition parties can't agree even on a meeting, where does that leave the Grand Alliance? Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's raise the big questions. Will this Congress debacle undo the India alliance? Can the opposition get its act together for 2024? Should the Congress be opting for generational change as a starter? Does the opposition desperately need a new narrative? Or is it simply too late now for a turnaround? Focus on the opposition. Joining me now, Pawan Kumar Verma, once with the Janata Dal United in the Trinamool Congress. Sanjay Jha, political analyst, once with the Congress, joins me. Mohan Kumaramangalam, very much with the Congress, its spokesperson who was working in Telangana. And Saket Gokhale is the young Trinamool Congress Rajya Sabha MP. Appreciate all of you joining us. Let me first turn to you, Mohan Kumaramangalam, because you are a sitting serving politician with the Congress party. After this debacle in the Hindi heartland, would I be right in saying the Congress is no longer the magnet for this opposition alliance? That therefore, the Congress also now is at best one of many parties that will have to come together. You're not even first among equals.
I don't think you would be right in saying that, Rajdeep Ji, because the Congress is the only really real national party in the alliance. We have vote shares and we have cadre across the entire country. Second, I want to say that, when the opinion polls were coming out for this particular round of elections, many of your colleagues, and I think you yourself, had very painstakingly pointed out that this will have no impact, or has rather not had any impact in the past, on the national elections in the same states. So, if it's not
with one caveat, Mr. Kumaramangalam, I had said that this was a semi-final for the Congress. If the Congress did well in these elections, you would have the momentum to, in a way, set the agenda for the opposition alliance. That may not happen anymore.
No, I think the Congress has successfully run 2 coalition governments and is very apt at being able to set the agenda and is able to negotiate multiple viewpoints into one common agenda. We've done it more than once before. So whether we lose an election or win an election, it doesn't harm our ability to coordinate with other parties in any which way. Let me get back to my point of saying that I don't think this has any impact on the national election. Second, if you look at some analysis that was done by Yogendra Yadav ji recently, he took the exact vote shares in all the assemblies in every particular parliament and actually came out with a number that said that the Congress, if these vote shares, the ones where we have lost horribly in these states that you're talking about, if you take just these vote shares with no increase, we're still about 22 parliament seats more than we were in the last election.
You cannot, let me, because I have been trolled on Twitter for this. While that's an interesting data point that the vote shares of the Congress, if extrapolated from Vidhan Sabha to Lok Sabha, would give you most seats. The fact is, a Lok Sabha poll is very different to Vidhan Sabha. So that, that's the reality. You may have got 38% vote share in Rajasthan, you may have got 40% vote share in a Chhattisgarh. That does not mean that you're going to transfer that to Vidhan Sabha, to Lok Sabha. That's when the Modi factor will play out.
I absolutely agree with you, Rajdeep Ji, which is why I'm saying that I have no idea why we're even having a conversation about how these elections impacts our ability to coordinate in a multi-party alliance for Lok Sabha.
It is impacting you because you're not setting the narrative anymore. Let me bring just a minute. Let me bring Pawan Verma. Let me bring in Pawan Verma on that. Pawan Verma, here you've got Mohan Kumaramangalam of the Congress saying it will have no impact on Lok Sabha 2024. That's a national battle. These are state battles. Don't mix the two issues.
Thank you, Rajdeep. Normally, I do believe that there is a difference between assembly elections and how the voter votes in parliamentary elections. But these elections, with the sweeping victory of the BJP in 3 major states in the north, where it was in direct conflict with the Congress, I think reinforces the perception that in 2024, whatever fight was left for the Congress to give in about 200 seats at least, where it's directly opposed to the BJP, has greatly diminished. Even if the Congress had done better, there was more than a likelihood that the same voter in a parliamentary election would have voted for the BJP. Because nobody wants an unstable coalition with clashing egos and unsure narratives. That's point number 1. Point number 2, I think the Congress has perfected the art of finding reasons to believe that nothing ever has gone wrong with the party. Whereas the truth is that it has been in verifiable decline, not after 2014, after 1984. The last time it won a majority on its own was in 1984. After that, it has been in coalition governments. And after 2014, it has been ousted in a very substantive sense and has done nothing over the 9 years on 5 factors which are important. One is face, one is leadership, one is organization, one is narrative, and one is, unfortunately, I say this because of otherwise great respect for Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, this stranglehold of the family. So, for the Congress now to believe that in the parliamentary election it can build a superstructure of hope on a foundation that doesn't exist, by which I mean an organization. The Congress organization has more or less withered away. And if it has a percentage base still, that is a consequence of the fact that the Congress was the mother of all parties for decades. And there is a support base that still lingers. But it has done nothing in these last 10 years to optimize it, to incrementalize it, to capitalize on it, to...
I take you're making very, you're virtually almost writing the obituary of the Congress. Is it premature, Sanjay Jha, as Pawan Verma seems to be virtually writing the obituary of the Congress, especially in the Hindi heartland? And you cannot win India without winning the Hindi heartland. I will throw 2 numbers at you that I keep quoting. Lots of others have since taken them up without attributing them to me. But I had put this in my book of 2019. In 2019, out of 186 direct fights, Congress, BJP won 171. In 2014, out of 186 direct fights, Congress, BJP won 162. So the fact is, unless the Congress gets its act together in these direct fights, how does this opposition alliance even work? The Congress is the main Kamzor Kadi if these numbers are to be taken into account. You're on mute, Mr. Jha. You need to be on unmute yourself.
Rajdeep, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
I think we need to bite the bullet on this very, very serious conversation. The Congress remains, in my opinion, a very ideological narrative for the country. But it needs to recognize the responsibility it carries. Now, there is a sliver of hope in Telangana. I'm not going to deny that. And I think Yogendra Yadav came up with the number that the Congress has got 10 lakh votes more than the BJP. And all those, I think, are reasonably comforting points. But the bottom line in a first past the post system is, did you win the state or did you not? And I think that is, in my opinion, the biggest worry for the Congress. And I'll tell you, I have written about it and I have, been castigated by the Congress, seniors very often for this. But it's not just Madhya Pradesh that the Congress has lost when it should have won. In fact, should have won in 18 and retained it. But look at Odisha, look at Gujarat, where you haven't won since 25 years. Forget West Bengal and Bihar and Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, etc., etc. So the Congress is now developing an extremely dicey track record, but it is not able to win a state, and when it loses, it actually abandons them forever. That, to me, is the real problem that the Congress faces. And I think, today it is going to be an existential challenge. I wouldn't call it a crisis yet, because if you lose 2024, and I need to say it here, I agree with you, Rajdeep, that you can't conflate this result with the Lok Sabha. A week is a long time in politics and a lot can change. But we cannot deny that the Congress could have seized an advantage, which has now further actually emboldened the BJP into believing and Narendra Modi into saying that a hat-trick is on its way. And I think politics is a battle of perceptions, Rajdeep. Today, the perception of the average swing voter will be that, you know what, I think the BJP is likely to win 2024. And that is not good news in politics. You got to seize the impression that not only are you there in the fight, but you're a potential winner.
Okay.
And therefore, I would say one last point, Rajdeep. You know, we keep talking about inflation, jobs, governance, corruption. But I want to put one thought before the panel. Like it or not, one reason why Narendra Modi and the BJP are very cocky is because since 2014, identity politics overwhelms the more tangible, tactile issues of an election. And until the Congress develops a counter-narrative to the Hindutva campaign, which cannot be a sporadic Hinduism versus Hindutva debate, you need a narrative to explain your point of view. I think you are going to seize the road to the BJP.
You know, we've heard about the need for a counter-narrative for a very long time. I'll come to you, Mohan. I know you're itching to get into those who are writing off the Congress so easily at a time when you won a state like Telangana, not an easy state to win. But Saket Gokhale, Mamata Banerjee says, look, I'm not available for this India Alliance meeting tomorrow. Let's postpone the meeting. So does Nitish Kumar. So does an Akhilesh Yadav. So does a Hemant Soren. It appears that the opposition allies now are telling the Congress, look, don't take us for granted. Get your act together first, then we'll talk.
Thanks, Mr. Sardesai. Look, I mean, it's a given when you're in an alliance that everybody, you know, there's no first among equals, everyone is an equal. So that was the genesis of this alliance as well. And I don't think that there is any party, including the Congress, that has thought that, oh, we are greater than the others, etc., etc. Number two, you spoke, the four people that you spoke about, all four of them are chief ministers of respective states, of big states. Now, if on the 3rd, a meeting is planned for the 6th, you must appreciate that, you know, it's not an intentional sign of, you know, snubbing someone or whatever. It is impossible for chief ministers to travel to Delhi suddenly for a summit on a notice of 3 days. That was
no, but we've heard comments from the likes of Sanjay Rao that the Congress must shed its arrogance. These are on-record statements that are being made by some of the regional allies, that the Congress needs to shed its arrogance, they say, and therefore, you know, come to the table with humility. Not that we will decide who becomes our leader, we will set the agenda, and the others simply have to follow.
No, I'll agree on that point with you. See, the issue is not so much with the central leadership, you know, because they have been with the India Alliance, be it, you know, Mrs. Gandhi, Mr. Kharge, right from day one, they've been working together with the alliance. I think the arrogance problem stems from Congress's apparent lack of control on a lot of its state units. We've been seeing that in West Bengal, we're seeing that in Kerala, we saw it in Madhya Pradesh, what a particular leader said about another India leader. So I think the issue, as Ambassador Verma was rightly saying somewhere, is organization. You know, you need to have control over our organization. In a lot of our parties, it's very clear. The message is straight. The narrative is straight. Everyone knows who is in charge.
No, but what is the narrative? You see, that's the question. What is the narrative now going to be of the India Alliance? You've got less than 3 months. You know, it's possible Prime Minister Modi could even announce elections straight after the Ram Mandir inauguration on the 22nd of January. What is the narrative? You should be ready by now, surely, with your narrative. What is your narrative?
Our narrative very simply is this. It is an alliance of different parties that are leaders in different states. Our narrative in West Bengal is very clear. Mr. Modi can hold the election next week if he wants. We are coming back with a much higher number of seats than even we got the last time. We have defeated the BJP constantly in the assembly election. So the narrative, look, that's the point. The BJP wants to centralize this. Whereas we represent a diverse coalition of parties, the narrative for the voters of West Bengal is going to be different from the narrative for voters of Tamil Nadu. Okay. It's going to be different from the narrative for the voters of Jharkhand. So it is up to Mr. Modi to see how he counters our narrative in all these states. We're not going to help him out by giving a united national narrative.
You're saying it's about diversity versus Mr. Modi, according to you, centralizing politics. You all represent diversity. But Mohan Kumar Amangalam, look at what diversity does. And I'll play that, you know, just today, one of the Tamil Nadu MPs, Senthil Kumar, has said there's a division, the elections have shown a division between the South Indian states and the so-called Gaumutra states. Now, this has led to much anger. Earlier, there was the Sanatan Dharma statement made by your leader in your ally of the DMK, Udayanidhi Stalin. all of this seems to suggest that mixed signals go out. I come back to it. After this defeat in the Hindi heartland, it appears that the Congress is largely focused, or the India alliance is stronger outside that Hindi heartland, in the south, in the east. How are you going to have a united narrative? What is that narrative beyond anti-Modism?
So Rajdeep ji, first let me respond to a number of things that were said by Pawan Verma ji as well as Sanjay Shah, my good friend. First, let me say that, in his book, Breakout Nations, Ruchir Sharma over the last 50 years took a painstakingly number of data points to show that coalition governments have actually fared better than single majority governments across all of the developing world. I'd encourage Mr. Verma to read it as well, because he said that nobody wants a hodgepodge of coalitions. Second, how could it be that we defeated BJP in Himachal, in Karnataka, and an extremely strong regional formation of BRS in Telangana if we don't have cadre anywhere, and if our party is basically a diminished force than what it was before? Third, I would say that the narrative for 2024, I agree with you. I'm not sure I'm on the same page with my friend Saket here. I think we will have a common minimum agenda. We will go to the people with a set of promises or a set of policies that we can market together as a formation.
But time is running out. With due regard, time is running out. It appears that for the last 2 months, the Congress was more intent on focusing on these elections, hoping to win a couple of states and thereby dictate the agenda. Now you've lost 3 out of the 4 states.
Rajdeep ji,
we are in the middle. We are in the first week of December. I repeat, election likely to be declared in February. You've got just a couple of months.
I'm sure Mr. Modi remembers what happened in 2003 and he won't make that mistake, but he might, just given the kind of statements he's been making over the last couple of days. If you remember what happened in 2003, this is exactly what happened. We lost the states, the election was preponed, they went into an India Shining campaign, and India came out and vehemently said that it's not shining for us, and the BJP was voted out of power. In 2003, India lost to Australia in the World Cup final. And in 2003, a young leader from Andhra called Y.S. Rajsekhar Reddy started his 60-day Padayatra and brought Congress back to power in Andhra Pradesh. So there are a lot of parallels here. You can look at history any way you want to. All I'm saying is that there is time, and I think all the members of the India Alliance will come together with a common narrative, at least the highlights that we're going to people with. Okay. And that's why I think you'll start to see the contours of that in this month itself, from the December 17th meeting onwards.
While we talk about India Alliance for a moment, Sanjay Jha, let me turn to one of your pet themes, which you've been advocating, a generational change. Do you believe that this defeat, in a way, presents an opportunity for the Congress? You can bring in a Sachin Pilot now and make him your face in Rajasthan for the next 5 years. You can bring in or find someone, possibly an OBC face in Madhya Pradesh or across North India. Do you believe that the defeat, in a way, presents an opportunity for the Congress? Let's go with a generational change.
Rajdeep, I've been in politics long enough to know that, it is one place where actually you are like wine. With age, you actually get better. Yet, some people can get calcified or ossified and not actually change with the times. A good example, I believe, is Mallikarjun Kharge, who surprised many as a Congress president. He, in fact, I think has been a unifying factor, a troubleshooter. You look at a young man like Mohan, who's on the panel today, and I believe he's a terrific spokesperson for the party. So you need a terrific mix of your talent. But I would like to point out one thing, Rajdeep. In my opinion, the key, I think, opportunity missed by the Congress was to create a model state that it could have shown to the country, to other states, that this is how we run a Congress government. On transparency, no corruption, good development indices, good social welfare measures, and basically demonstrating the tangible, tactile changes you have made since you were in government. I remember making this recommendation to the Congress when we won Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh, and said pick up any 2 states and make a case study of them. Modi made Gujarat model a story, and we all know it had the weakest tired legs, and it flew. here is the point. It's never too late for the Congress. I agree with Mohan that you can't write the Congress off. And I'm bullish that the India Alliance, if they got their head together, they can put up a good fight and bring the BJP down. Yeah. But here is the point. The Congress needs to invest for the long term. Make Karnataka or make Himachal, make Telangana a model state of governance that can be an envy or a boilerplate for the others to follow.
Yeah, but at the moment, many of these Congress-ruled states are seen as ATMs for the party because the party lacks the resources to match the BJP. And therefore, that in a way creates their own problems of governance. But there is an elephant in the room, Pawan Verma. You mentioned it briefly, which is the Gandhi family. Yes. You see, the sense is the Gandhi family is not a vote catcher north of the Vindhyas. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra campaigned extensively in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. So did Rahul Gandhi. And they've done it in the past in Uttar Pradesh, other states, no headway. Are they the elephant in the room when you say leadership and the family are a problem? And that's going to have to be resolved whether you have an India alliance or any other. Or are they the glue that holds this party together?
No, they are the glue unless they allow for talent to come up. The point is simple. The verifiable element in the room is the lack of effective leadership. Now, where the Gandhi family is concerned, yes, they have in the past contributed to the nation, given their blood to the nation, but there is no ordained rule in democracy that necessarily leadership passes from one generation of a family to another. And the Congress has tried and tested this in the past and seen the results. So therefore I'm saying, Mr. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, I respect his views. But the real problem in the Congress is they're never able to catch the bull by its horns and question what is the fundamental reason why the Congress has gone into almost irreversible decline.
If I were to ask you to summarize that fundamental reason in 30 seconds, what would it be?
It would be, as I said right in the beginning, lack of effective leadership. Lack of organization. There is the Congress organization at the grassroots is decrepit. It is fossilized.
Yeah, but that's going to take years to fix.
In dispersal.
That's going to take years to fix. What you're talking is going to take years to fix.
But they didn't. And therefore, when you are saying that they are hopeful for the opposition coming together, my good friend Sanjay mentioned, let me tell you, why was the opposition waiting till 2023 to begin the effort to try and come together in some form of an alliance? And then what is the progress? In June they meet in Patna. Any other effective organization or alliance would in a week have set up a secretariat, come out with a common minimum program, set up a working group to start talks on seat sharing. Nothing happens for 4 weeks. You meet in Bangalore, you have dinner, you have coffee. 5 weeks later, you meet in Mumbai, nothing happens. And now they are telling me that now in December, they'll come out with a common minimum program.
Saket,
it's not as if they don't have issues that cut across party lines.
I take your point. I take your point, Mr. Verma. Saket Gokhale responded, it may be too late. You see, it appears that there are so many divisions within this opposition alliance. You mentioned in Bengal, we know Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary keeps sniping at Mamata Banerjee. We've seen in Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party, Congress sniping at each other. How are you going to work together? We saw what happened between Akhilesh Yadav and Kamal Nath in Madhya Pradesh. At the end of the day, people want to see, the voter wants to see coherence. It's not just stability, it's about coherence.
Look, Mr. Sardesai, look, here's the thing. It's not, everyone has their little conflicts at the state level. The bottom line is, Congress has 2 seats in West Bengal. We'll contest either 40 seats or we'll contest 42 seats. What Ambassador Verma said, I, to a large extent, agree with that. We and a lot of other parties have been insisting on getting seat sharing done for the longest period of time. Because the meeting happened in September, a lot of time elapsed, and we should have gotten seat sharing in place. But on the other side, let me also tell you that the Congress already has existing alliances with their alliance partners in many states, like Maharashtra, for example, like Tamil Nadu, for example, like Jharkhand, for instance, like Bihar, for instance. So it's not that you have to go down to the drawing board and suddenly seat sharing across all 545 seats. It is going to happen across a few seats. In West Bengal, we know who is primarily going to contest the elections. Everyone knows what it's going to be in Tamil Nadu, for example. Everyone knows what it's going to be in Bihar. So yes, I mean, could this have been done earlier? Yes. But to suggest that we don't see eye to eye and we don't have any cooperation happening, that's not true. Because if you look consistently, be it on television shows, be it inside Parliament, I'm telling you.
No, you did not even contest a state like Madhya Pradesh.
One last point. This is my third session in Parliament, and let me tell you very simply that if you would have told someone a year ago that on the Delhi Services Bill, which only affects the Aam Aadmi Party and no other state, that every single India party will come together and get a tally of 102, which is the highest opposition tally in the Rajya Sabha since 1962, no one would have believed it. But the Congress came. Dr. Manmohan Singh came, in fact, on that day as well. And we all voted on a bill that only affected the Aam Aadmi Party and no other party. I think there cannot be a bigger sign of unity between the Congress, the AAP, TMC, DMK, and all of our parties.
Because many believe that if you lose 2024, what it is an existential crisis in a way for some of the parties at least. Mohan Kumaramangalam, therefore, a final word from you. Therefore, Mohan Kumaramangalam, a final word from you. It appears when Mr. Modi talks of a hat-trick, he seems to be suggesting an inevitability now over the outcome. If I were to ask you in 30 seconds, where do you start to puncture the Modi balloon? Do you have an idea? Do you have a thought? Do you have a clear narrative?
Rajdeep ji, our narrative has always been from the very beginning about issues that matter to the people, whether it is rising income inequality, rural-urban divide, unemployment, inflation. We have always been talking about the issues that matter to the people. If you want me to answer the question of why Congress has maybe diminished from the years since 1984, I would say it is because of the rise of identity politics. And I wouldn't say it started with 2014, as Mr. Sanjay Jha said, but rather from the Mandal politics time, where identity started to raise its head. We have stayed steadfastly true to our roots and have always brought up issues that matter to the livelihood of
Pawan Verma seems to suggest that the family and the Gandhi family are the elephant in the room. They haven't been able to provide the kind of leadership that you need to take on the BJP in the Hindi heartland.
The Gandhi family has stepped aside as much as they possibly could, and it's unfair to say that they go and campaign. Mr. Modi also campaigned an equal amount of time in Telangana and ended up winning only 8 seats. I think if you want to judge Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi, you have 2 elections to do it. UP, where she went into a gunfight with basically a knife and still tried to pull a rabbit out of a hat. And you have Himachal Pradesh, where she pretty much managed the entire election with no CM face. Here you have this incumbent CM and a proposed CM in Mr. Kamal Nath who ran the whole election. But again, I am not going to be like a BJP person and credit victories to only Mr. Modi and losses to the state unit. This is about collective leadership. We all lost. We're all introspecting on what went wrong in these states. But I will say that please go look back at 2003. The parallels are eerily similar. And Mr. Modi is on some sort of a high right now with hubris.
With one difference, Mr. Modi is not Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Mr. Modi is not Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And maybe India has also changed 20 years later. Maybe it's identity politics that has got strengthened. Particularly religious identity politics has got strengthened in the last 20 years. But either way, we will wait and see. It's difficult to predict the future, especially in a country like India. But clearly time is running out for the opposition to get its act together. It has to find a narrative, a leadership, and dare I say, an identity for itself. Thank you all very much for joining me though here on our talking point tonight. Okay, let's turn to today's ground report, because just a day after being elected an MLA from Jaipur, BJP's Bal Mukund Acharya has stirred a controversy by going after what he claims are illegal meat vendors in Jaipur. When confronted, the BJP MLA defended his actions, accused the Congress instead. Is this really the face the BJP wants to project? Take a look.
नहीं रोड पे नॉन वेज बेच सकते हैं क्या खुले में? हाँ या ना बोलो, लाइव हो आप? तो आप समर्थन कर रहे हो इनका? तुरंत प्रभाव से नॉन वेज के सारे जितने भी ठेले रोड पे लगे हैं, रोड पे बना रहे हैं, ये नहीं दिखने चाहिए। मैं शाम को रिपोर्ट लूंगा आपसे, मुझे नहीं मतलब है मेहरानिया जी कौन अधिकारी है।
Bal Mukund Acharya was elected MLA from Hawa Mahal Assembly seat in Jaipur on Sunday. The very next day, he got down to business. Acharya and his supporters patrolled the streets, targeting meat vendors and non-vegetarian stores, which they claimed were illegal.
आपने गेला समझ लिया मुझे। आप ऊपर के उस फेवर में हो ना, कोई आपका मित्र काम दे रहा है। आप सोचना कभी किसी के फेवर में रहा ही नहीं। मुझे देंगे या मेरे को।
The newly elected MLA got into arguments with the police.
नहीं, रोड पे नॉन वेज बेच सकते हैं क्या खुले में? हाँ या ना बोलो, लाइव हो आप।
And pulled up officials over the phone.
तुरंत प्रभाव से नॉन वेज के सारे जितने भी ठेले रोड पे लगे हैं, रोड पे बना रहे हैं, ये नहीं दिखने चाहिए। मैं शाम को रिपोर्ट लूंगा आपसे, मुझे नहीं मतलब है मेहरानिया जी कौन अधिकारी है।
The videos went viral on social media, fetching him praise from his supporters and sparking outrage from critics. Speaking to India Today, Acharya defended his actions.
मेरे को झुटा रहे हैं कि नहीं, सब लाइसेंस है, रजिस्टर आया 137 का और मौके पे हजारों हैं। समस्या क्या है, उस क्षेत्र में बहुत सारे मंदिर हैं, मंदिरों में आने जाने वालों को असुविधा होती है, रोड पर वो खड़े होकर बनाते हैं, बेचते हैं, उसकी दुर्गंध आती है। जिन लोगों को परहेज है उनकी शिकायत है।
The MLA accused the Congress of stoking controversy.
कांग्रेस के पास में क्या न तो कोई मुद्दा है। 5 साल उन्होंने जो कुकर्म किया, कुशासन मचाया, जो अधिकारियों के साथ मिल बैठकर सोने के बिस्कुट लूटे, 19 बार पेपर लीक करके बच्चों का भविष्य बर्बाद किया, माताओं बहनों को सुरक्षा दे नहीं पाए, और यहाँ जिस प्रकार का जिहाद का माहौल था, माहौल खराब करने का प्रयास किया गया।
Bal Mukund Acharya played down comparisons with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, but says he will take up any job given to him by the party.
हम तो एक सामान्य कार्यकर्ता के रूप में अपने आप को प्रेजेंट करते हैं, और सामान्य कार्यकर्ता होने के साथ एक धार्मिक पद होने के साथ राजधर्म निभाने की बात करते हैं।
लेकिन नॉन वेज रोड पे बेच सकते हैं क्या?
Vijay Kishan in Jaipur, Bureau Report, India Today.
रोड पे नॉन वेज बेच सकते हैं क्या खुले में? हाँ या ना बोलो, लाइव हो आप।
Rajasthan wants to be the tourist capital of this country. Is that the image we want to send out globally? This is for the new government in Rajasthan to think about. Surely my right to sell non-vegetarian food should be my fundamental right. And if anything, licenses should be granted to both vegetarian vendors and non-vegetarian vendors. Think about it. Let's turn from there to take a break, and when we return, we'll tell you about the cyclone that's made a landfall in Andhra Pradesh and bring you a ground report from flood hit Chennai. Back in a moment.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company. The true viewership king stands tall. Absolute domination on results day. Viewership super smash.
The live concurrent data clearly shows India Today's lead is almost thrice. You could add up times now in Republic. Rajdeep, I think you can add all of them and they still won't come to India Today.
Since you have advertised this program as double engine, BJP ka double engine clear hai.
Decimates the competition. Viewers reward India's #1 channel. No fakery, no fixing, only facts. India's true #1 channel.
कांग्रेस के कुछ फैसलों से इंडिया गठबंधन की एकता पे असर जरूर पड़ा है, लेकिन समाजवादी पार्टी का स्पष्ट मत है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सत्ता से हटाने के लिए सब मिल के प्रयास करें, सब मिल के चुनाव लड़े। कांग्रेस बड़ा